Bill Shankly built one of football's greatest dynasties. But no manager builds a dynasty alone. When Shankly arrived at Liverpool in 1959, the club was trapped in the second division and desperate for a new beginning. He didn't search for the biggest names. He searched for the right men, players with courage, leaders who could change a dressing room, footballers capable of changing an entire football club. Some became captains, some became Liverpool legends, and some helped build a legacy that still defines Anfield today. But among every player Bill Shankly signed, only a handful truly transformed Liverpool forever. If you love football history, subscribe now. Let's count down Bill Shankly's 5 greatest signings. Today, Peter Thompson is one of Liverpool's most forgotten legends, but Bill Shankly saw something special from the very beginning. When Liverpool signed Thompson from Preston North End in 1963, Shankly wasn't simply adding another winger. He was strengthening a team that would soon become champions. Thompson played with pace, balance, and fearless dribbling. Fullbacks knew what was coming. Very few could stop him. His arrival gave Liverpool another dimension in attack. Space opened for Roger Hunt. Defenders were dragged out of position. Liverpool became quicker, sharper, far more dangerous. The results followed. Liverpool won the First Division title in 1963-64. A year later, they lifted the first FA Cup in the club's history. Then came another league championship in 1965-66. Through it all, Thompson became one of Shankly's most trusted players. He rarely missed matches, and he rarely produced a poor performance. Shankly admired his balance, fitness, and relentless work ethic. He even placed Peter Thompson among football's all-time greats. Remarkable praise from a manager who demanded perfection. Yet time has been cruel to Thompson. His achievements have slowly faded behind the stars who came after him. But when you look at his influence on Liverpool's rise and the respect he earned from Bill Shankly, the conclusion is clear. Peter Thompson stands as one of the greatest signings Bill Shankly ever made. Emlyn Hughes wasn't just one of Bill Shankly's greatest signings. He became the leader of Liverpool's next great generation. When Liverpool signed the 19-year-old from Blackpool in 1967, most people saw a talented teenager. Bill Shankly saw much more. Club legend says that while driving Hughes to Liverpool, Shankly was stopped by a policeman. Pointing towards the young defender, he reportedly smiled and said, "There sits the future captain of England." Years later, Hughes proved him right. Nicknamed Crazy Horse, Hughes played with fearless energy. He could defend, attack, carry the ball forward, and inspire everyone around him. As Liverpool's first great team began to grow older, Hughes became one of the faces of the club's future. Shankly even replaced Tommy Smith as captain with Hughes, a decision that created one of Liverpool's most famous dressing room rivalries. But Hughes justified the faith placed in him. Liverpool won the League Championship and UEFA Cup in 1973. A year later, Hughes lifted the FA Cup, Bill Shankly's final trophy as Liverpool manager. Looking back, Emlyn Hughes stands as one of the greatest signings Bill Shankly ever made. Keegan arrived at Liverpool as an unknown. He wasn't an international star. He wasn't one of England's biggest names. When Bill Shankly signed him from Scunthorpe United in 1971 for around £35,000, few imagined what would follow. Shankly did. After the deal was completed, he famously called it robbery with violence. Keegan's greatest weapon wasn't his size. It was his relentless determination. He chased every ball, pressed every defender, and never stopped running. Shankly reportedly told him before his Liverpool debut, "Go out and drop a few hand grenades." Keegan did exactly that. He scored on his debut, then formed one of English football's greatest partnerships with John Toshak. Together, they transformed Liverpool's attack. The trophies quickly followed. Liverpool won the League Championship and UEFA Cup in 1973. It was the club's first major European trophy. A year later, Keegan helped Liverpool lift the FA Cup. By the time he left Anfield, he had scored 100 goals in 323 appearances, becoming one of the greatest bargains in football history. Looking back, Keegan wasn't just a brilliant signing. He became one of the greatest bargains Bill Shankly ever found. Ian St John didn't just strengthen Liverpool. He helped change the club's history. Bill Shankly had admired the Motherwell striker for years. When the chance came to sign him in 1961, Liverpool paid a club record £37,500. Many thought it was too much. Shankly never did. He famously said, "He's the only centre-forward in the game." That was the faith he had in St John. He wasn't simply a goal scorer. He created chances, bullied defenders, and brought others into the game. His partnership with Roger Hunt became one of the most dangerous in England. The impact was immediate. Liverpool won promotion in 1962. 2 years later, they were champions of England. Then came one of the greatest moments in the club's history, the 1965 FA Cup final. Liverpool had never won the competition. In extra time, Ian Callaghan delivered the cross. Ian St John rose highest and headed Liverpool to their first ever FA Cup. It was the goal that completed another piece of Shankly's revolution. St John finished his Liverpool career with 425 appearances and 118 goals. More importantly, he became one of the foundations of Shankly's first great team. Looking back, Ian St John stands as one of the greatest signings Bill Shankly ever made. Ron Yates wasn't just Bill Shankly's captain. He became the symbol of Liverpool's rebirth. When Shankly signed Yates from Dundee United in 1961, he knew he had found the leader his team had been missing. Introducing him to the press, Shankly famously said, "Walk around him, he's a colossus." Those words became part of Liverpool folklore. But Yates was more than an imposing defender. He was calm, fearless, and a natural leader. At just 23 years old, Shankly handed him the captain's armband. He wanted Yates to become his voice on the pitch. The decision changed Liverpool forever. Yates captained the club back into the First Division, led them to league championships, and became the first Liverpool captain to lift the FA Cup. More than 450 appearances followed, with over 400 of them as captain. Years later, Shankly looked back at the arrivals of Ron Yates and Ian St John and described them as the greatest signings and the beginning of Liverpool. No praise could have been greater.
His coming, along with Ian St John, around the same time, was the very beginning of Liverpool's rise.
Looking at his leadership, influence, and everything he helped build, one conclusion stands above the rest. Ron Yates was Bill Shankly's greatest signing. Not every great signing could make this list. Players like Ray Clements, Steve Highway, John Toshak, Gordon Milne, and Peter Cormack all played vital roles in Liverpool's rise. Each left a lasting mark on the club, but none matched the complete impact of the five you've just seen. Bill Shankly never searched for the biggest names. He searched for the right men, footballers with character, leaders who could carry his standards onto the pitch. Those decisions changed Liverpool forever. They lifted the club out of the second division. They turned Liverpool into champions. They delivered the club's first FA Cup. And they laid the foundations for one of the greatest dynasties football has ever known. Looking at Bill Shankly's own words, their achievements, and the legacy they left behind, these remain the defining signings of his Liverpool reign. Bill Shankly built the vision. These men built the dynasty. Subscribe now, because the greatest legends are never measured by trophies alone, but by the legacy they leave behind.